After winning the summer championship, there was still no news about my contract renewal. Instead, I found a withdrawal request from the team, and the submitter's name was boldly written as my girlfriend, Elena. I stormed into her office like a madman, demanding an explanation. From ranking at the bottom of the league to winning the summer title, I had pushed through old injuries, forcing myself to play under pressure, my wrists wrapped tight in kinesiology tape. As the team's coach, there was no way she didn't know. But she just laughed, brushing it off like it was nothing. "Relax," she said. "It was just a joke. Mickey and I made a bet to see if you'd notice before the deadline. Looks like I won." Mickey, the rookie she insisted on signing even when everyone objected. I swallowed my anger. "You two thought it was fine to use me as a bet?" She frowned, irritated. "It's not like you can't cancel it yourself in the system. What's the big deal?" So that was it. The starting position I had fought for with everything I had meant nothing to her. It was just a casual wager. I couldn't believe my ears. "Elena, be honest. If Mickey had submitted the resignation request instead of me, would you still say, 'What's the big deal?'" All the rage and exhaustion I'd been holding on to suddenly faded, leaving only a cold emptiness in my chest. My throat tightened before I finally managed to speak, my voice trembling. "Elena, have you ever thought about what would have happened if I hadn't noticed in time?" Maybe I sounded too hoarse because she finally looked up. Her brows drew together, impatience flickering across her face. But when her gaze landed on the dark circles under my eyes and the tape around my wrist, her expression faltered. Her lips pressed together, and her fingers crumpled the sticky note on her desk. A habit she always had when she felt guilty, but couldn't bring herself to apologize. For a second, a fragile spark of hope rose in my chest. Maybe she just acted on impulse. Maybe she regretted it already. But that small flame died the moment she spoke again. "You said it yourself. Instead of arguing with me, why don't you just go back and withdraw the request?" I took a deep breath, swallowing the bitterness in my throat. "Elena, what Mickey did was a breach of authority. I can go to the boss, even file an appeal with the league." The words had barely left my mouth when she let out a cold laugh. "An appeal? Are you insane?" Her face hardened instantly, all warmth gone. "It was just a joke. Mickey just joined the team. He's young. Can't you be a little more forgiving? He got emotional, that's all. In the end, it was directed at me. I was the one who signed him. I'm responsible for him. What's wrong with me taking care of him? Do you really have to cling to this like a dog with a bone? Competing with a rookie? You're being ridiculous. I can't even talk to you." Her voice rose as she pointed to the door. "Get out! Just get out!" I froze, staring at her in disbelief. She had once sworn she would never say those words, because her father had shouted them at her mother once, and her mother filed for divorce the next day, never to return. I searched her eyes for even a trace of humor, but all I found was cold impatience, and something else. A hint of disgust I'd never seen before. The tape on my wrist suddenly felt too tight, squeezing until my fingertips went numb. I remembered the summer finals, the last team fight. When it ended, I took off my headset and saw her running toward me, throwing her arms around me, tears soaking my jersey as she shouted, "Augustine, we did it!" Her embrace had been so warm back then. How could her words now feel so cold? I stared at her tense face and all the strength I'd been clinging to just collapsed. I was exhausted. "All right," I finally said, my voice calm enough to scare even me. "I'll go. Not just out of her office, but out of the team. I'd leave everything behind, just like she wanted." Back in my room, the computer screen still showed the resignation form. Because of it, the system's automatic renewal had been frozen. She wasn't wrong. If I clicked "Withdraw Request Now," it would be as if nothing ever happened. My mouse hovered over the button, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't click it. A knock on the door snapped me back. It was Mickey. "Augustine," he said, standing there in his team uniform with that same innocent look on his face. "Elena asked me to call you to the meeting room. She said there's going to be a discussion about the new season's lineup." He paused, pretending to look thoughtful. "Oh, and I just saw Elena. She didn't seem too happy. Did you guys argue? Was it about that bet? If you want to blame someone, blame me. It all started because of me and her. Don't stay mad at Elena, okay?" He sounded apologetic, but every word made it sound like I was overreacting. The smugness in his eyes wasn't even subtle. He was pretending to be harmless, but I could see through him. I looked at him coldly, disgust rising in my throat. "Elena, what did you ever see in someone like him?" When the rookie program ended, Mickey hadn't even ranked well. Everyone disagreed with signing him, but Elena went against all opinions and insisted. I had questioned her back then, and she'd linked her arm with mine, saying, "His eyes on stage reminded me of you. I want to give him a chance, just like I gave you one." Because of that, I'd kept an eye on him. But despite her words, she treated him like any other player, Later, she even complained about him. Said he was unstable, that he lost focus under pressure, that he lacked a sense of teamwork. She admitted she had misjudged him and said he was nothing like me. That was until 2 months ago, during the group stage. Her new strategy was completely detached from reality. After 3 straight losses, we fell into the losers bracket. 1 more loss, and we'd be out of the playoffs entirely. I realized we couldn't keep going like that, so in the next match, I went against her strategy and led us to our first win. When the game ended, everyone was celebrating, but Elena's expression was complicated. "Why did you change the strategy?" she asked. I thought she was just curious, so I told her the truth, but her next words were sharp. "I'll let it go this time, but I'm the coach. As a player, your job is to execute, not make decisions on your own." I frowned and pushed back. "Elena, this is esports, not following a script. Things change by the second. We have to adapt. We're the ones in the game. We know what works best." Her anger flared. She threw her notebook on the floor, her voice rising. "You're arrogant, Augustine. What if we had lost? Who would have taken responsibility then?" "I would," I said firmly, meeting her gaze without flinching. That day, we parted on bad terms. But since we'd won, the public praised us, and management called Elena in for a talk. She had no choice but to keep me as a starter. On the day we won the championship, I took off my headset and looked up. She was already running toward me. She threw her arms around me, tears soaking my jersey. "Augustine, we did it!" she cried. I thought that argument had just been a small bump in our story, but that was only my wishful thinking. Later, I learned that after that fight, Mickey had stayed behind with her, comforting her. Even after everyone else left, he kept texting her. And from then on, Elena grew closer and closer to him. Mickey started bringing her breakfast, and she stopped refusing. She began creating strategies centered around him. Eventually, even our teammates joked that Elena was ready to replace me. Every time I heard it, my face would darken. Elena never stopped them. She'd just laugh and hold up 3 fingers, swearing, "Don't listen to their nonsense. You're the only one in my heart. Liar." Seeing me stay silent, the smugness in Mickey's eyes deepened. "Augustine, are you still mad?" Before I could respond, the sharp click of high heels echoed in the hallway. Elena appeared, her eyes going straight to Mickey first, her tone full of concern. "What are you doing here?" Then she turned to me, her brows instantly furrowing. "Augustine, are you giving Mickey a hard time again?" Mickey quickly waved his hands, pretending to defend me. "Elena, don't misunderstand. I came to find Augustine myself." He lowered his head, pretending to be scared, his voice soft and pitiful. "I just thought something as important as the lineup rotation should include Augustine's opinion too." Elena's expression softened immediately. "I'm the coach," she said. "Adjusting the roster is my responsibility. I don't need anyone's approval. Some people think winning 1 or 2 championships gives them the right to bully others. But if that's the case, don't blame me for being harsh." As she said it, her cold gaze flicked toward me, and in that moment, I finally understood. She had never forgiven me for changing the strategy that day. This whole bet, Mickey's unauthorized resignation submission, was her revenge. If I gave up and stopped fighting, I'd earn her so-called forgiveness. But why? Why should I sacrifice my career just to win her mercy? I shook my head. "Elena, you're beyond saving." Her face went pale, her voice sharp. "Augustine, do you have to be so petty and aggressive?" She took a deep breath, then suddenly let out a bitter laugh. "I was still hesitating before, but now I see it clearly. Replacing you as starter was the right decision. With that temper of yours, you don't even deserve to be on stage." Her words hit me like a blow to the chest. The dull ache spread through my veins until even breathing hurt. The same woman who once told me I'd be the next world champion was now saying I didn't even deserve to play. Who did she think she was? A judge? Whether I could play or not wasn't for her to decide. My fists clenched, knuckles white, as I glared at her. In the end, she looked away first. I knew she did that because she remembered us. Back when neither of us was wanted by any team, when we leaned on each other every day, climbing toward the top and surviving every low point. Never once letting go. But this time, she truly wanted to throw me away. No matter how many trophies I'd brought home, the only one she wanted now was Mickey. "Elena," I said quietly, "Mickey's not like you think. He's manipulative." She crossed her arms, voice soft but commanding. "Augustine, Mickey's not like you. He's forgiving. If you just lower your head and apologize, this whole thing could be over. 5 years as teammates, 3 years in love, and all it took was one argument and a few comforting words from someone else for everything to fall apart." My expression turned cold. "Keep dreaming." Elena's face darkened. "You're so stubborn, Augustine." "Stubborn? Fine, let her think that." I was done arguing. With a loud bang, I slammed the door shut and locked it, not caring if it hit either of them. I stared at the resignation form on the screen. The countdown showed 40 minutes left before the request would become irreversible. My fingertip hovered for a moment, then pressed withdraw. The system automatically opened the renewal contract. I moved the cursor to do not renew. I wasn't going to leave the team because of a stupid bet. But I wasn't going to stay in a team that made one, either. I checked the date when my contract would expire, then opened my phone and messaged the manager who'd been pestering me about a transfer just yesterday. Need a shot caller? My contract's ending soon. No transfer fee required. The reply came almost instantly, followed by a flood of excited messages. Yes, 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 yes. Wait there, I'll prep the contract now. If you're joking, I swear I'll hunt you down. Ding, the new team's contract arrived. I let out a long breath. Turns out, leaving SCG, leaving Elena, wasn't as painful as I thought. In fact, it almost felt freeing. Even the ache in my wrist seemed to fade for a moment. I remembered once saying, I'll take SCG to the World Championship with Elena. Looking back now, it sounded like a bad joke. After signing the digital contract, I started packing my things. Then my phone buzzed again. It was my childhood friend. The first two messages were voice notes, both full of shouting and curses. His voice was frantic, like he was about to explode. Augustine, check the video I just sent you, now. Everyone from SCG is here except you. And Elena's stuck to Mickey like they're Siamese twins. A video popped up right after. The camera was shaky. It was clear my friend was hiding while recording. Neon lights flickered over the booth where my teammates sat in a circle. Mickey was pressed right next to Elena in the middle, their arms almost touching. Someone shouted over the music, Elena! Truth or dare! Another voice laughed. Dare! If you pick dare, you've got two options. Either drink a cross cup with any guy here, or make Augustine say, I was wrong. The whole room erupted with laughter and cheers. Everyone knew about our fight that morning, and they were clearly enjoying the show. Mickey turned to Elena with a look of eager anticipation in his eyes. Elena's cheeks flushed, her brows furrowed slightly. After a moment of hesitation, she finally pulled out her phone. Mickey's smile froze instantly. My phone rang. I picked up but didn't say anything. The noise in the background was loud, like she was somewhere crowded, maybe drinking. Her voice was soft, a little slurred. Augustine, I was too worked up this morning, she said quietly. I'm giving you one last chance. Just tell Mickey you were wrong, and I'll put you back in the starting lineup. I'll pretend none of this ever happened. A short, cold laugh escaped me. Elena, let me make this clear one last time. I will never apologize to him. Not even if I die, her anger ignited instantly. Fine, Augustine, you've got guts! If you have the nerve, then... I didn't let her finish. I hung up. She called again. I hung up again. The third time I blocked her. And just like that, the world went silent. A moment later, another video came from my friend. In the clip, Elena looked furious, humiliated that I'd blocked her. She slammed her glass onto the floor. The sound of it shattering cut through the music as shards and liquor scattered everywhere. The laughter in the room died instantly. Then Mickey stepped forward and grabbed her arm gently, his voice trembling. Elena, don't be mad. Let's stop playing. Stop? Why should we stop? She snapped. Then she pointed at one of the teammates. Record this. Go on, record it. Let Augustine open his eyes and see. Elena, I'm not his and his alone. And with that, she pulled Mickey toward her and kissed him right there in front of everyone. Even though I'd already decided to end things, my chest still tightened at the sight. But strangely, that suffocating pain began to fade a moment later. I sent a message to my friend. I'm going to City A. Whatever happens with her from now on, it's none of my business. Then I turned off my phone. I didn't expect that the same night, Elena would show up at my door, reeking of alcohol. I saw the system. You withdrew your resignation request, she said. I raised an eyebrow but stayed silent. If she saw that, she must have also seen the transfer notice. So why was she really here? I knew it, she said with a shaky smile. You couldn't bring yourself to leave, Augustine. You can't live without SCG, or without me. Apologize to Mickey and I'll reinstate you as a starter. Her words made me pause for half a second. Then I let out a cold laugh and shut the door right in her face. By the next morning, she was gone. After that night, we fell into complete silence. Cold, suffocating silence. It stayed that way until the day before I was set to leave. That afternoon, the team manager came to find me, looking awkward. Augustine. Elena said she's holding a celebration party tonight. She wants all team members to attend. I frowned. A celebration party? But we already had one after the summer championship. I shook my head. I'll pass. The manager looked uneasy, about to persuade me. Elena, specifically. Manager, I cut him off evenly. My contract expires today. By the time that party starts, I won't even be a member of this team. And with that, I turned and walked away. When my plane landed, my phone buzzed. It was my childhood friend sounding exasperated. Augustine, Elena showed up at my house. She's demanding to see you. I told her you're not here, but she doesn't believe me. She's literally waiting outside my door. She's lost it, man. Still has the nerve to ask where you went. I frowned. Just tell her I already left. For City A. Not long after, another call came. It was Justin again, this time furious. Elena's out of her mind. I told her you went to City A, and she forced her way into my house. Through the receiver, I could faintly hear Elena shouting in the background. Justin, stop pretending. Why would Augustine go to City A alone? He's definitely hiding here. Make him come out and talk to me. Justin snapped back, voice dripping with sarcasm. Elena, quit acting clueless. Why else would Augustine go to City A? Obviously to join his new team. Didn't you check the system? You do know he didn't renew, right? Justin's words hit her like an ice-cold blade. She froze, her knuckles turning pale from how tightly she was gripping her phone. For a moment, she even forgot how to breathe. What are you talking about? Her voice trembled, thin and unsteady. I saw it myself. The system showed Augustine withdrew his resignation. It said he didn't leave. Justin let out a dry laugh, swiping across his screen before turning it toward her. On the glowing display was a forum post pinned to the top of an esports gossip site. Its title was like a slap across her face. Breaking, SCG's championship shot caller Augustine has officially joined City A's TMW team after contract expiration. The timestamp showed it had been posted that morning. Attached below was a photo of a contract signing. The lighting was dim, but she recognized that side profile instantly. It was him. Elena, you only see what you want to see, Justin said, his arms crossed, sarcasm thick in his voice. Augustine didn't withdraw his resignation to stay. He did it so the system could process his contract properly before leaving your damn team. He sighed, frustration simmering beneath his tone. You're not new to this world. You know exactly what it means when news like this breaks. His words shattered whatever defense she had left. Elena staggered back, hitting the cold steel door behind her. A chill ran down her spine as her mind spun in chaos. Flashes of the past few days replaying in her head, her shouting at him to get out, forcing him to apologize to Mickey, kissing Mickey in that bar to spite him, running to his room and finding it empty, asking the manager, who told her he'd already left, and even then she'd still believed he'd come back. But that photo, the proof of his new team, was like a slap, hot and merciless. Her hands trembled as she dug out her phone, mistyping her passcode 3 times before finally unlocking it. The page loaded painfully slow, each second stretching like torture. Then it appeared. The contract status glared back in bright red letters. No renewal. Process completed. No, that's impossible, she whispered, tears spilling onto her phone screen. He said he'd take SCG to the World Championship with me. How could he just leave? Justin's tone softened slightly, though annoyance lingered. He said a lot of things, Elena. How many of them did you actually listen to? Who treated his resignation like a joke? Who told him he didn't even deserve to play? Elena, you're the one who pushed him away. Elena said nothing, just clutched her phone tighter. Then a memory hit her. The day of the summer finals, right before the match. The red veins in Augustine's eyes. The kinesiology tape wrapping his wrist. He had smiled and said, Elena, we're one step closer to the World Championship. And she had only been thinking about their tactical disagreement. He can't leave. SCG can't lose him. Her voice cracked. Then she lifted her head, eyes wild with panic and determination. Without another word, she turned and bolted for the stairs. Her heels clattered sharply against the steps, frantic, desperate. I'm going to find him. Justin watched her disappear down the stairwell, sighed helplessly, and pulled out his phone. He quickly typed a message to Augustine. Elena says she's heading to City A to find you. Be careful. Outside the car window, the view shifted from the airport expressway to the glowing city lights. City A's night was brighter and colder than I imagined. Leaning against the glass, I felt the dull ache in my wrist again. The old injury always liked to remind me it was still there, especially when I least wanted it to be. But somewhere deep inside, the tension that had been wound tight for months finally began to ease. The TMW base was far grander than SCG's. A standalone villa that radiated the confidence of a top-tier esports team. Its logo glowed a sharp, icy blue in the dark, like the eyes of a beast waiting to strike. The moment I stepped out of the car, a man hurried toward me. Finally! Was the traffic bad? It was Max, TMW's manager. His voice had sounded warm over the phone, but in person he was even more energetic, grabbing my suitcase with a grin. Come on, let's get you settled in. The team's been waiting, especially Zoe. She's been talking about you all afternoon. Zoe. The name made my steps falter just slightly. When we were kids, we'd lived in the same housing complex. She used to follow me around calling Augustine Gege. Whenever our parents weren't home, I'd sneak her onto my computer to play games. I'd teach her the basics, but she'd always get distracted. Her character would die while she complained. It's the keyboard's fault. Later, during my senior year, when I decided to go pro and my parents were furious, she was the one who quietly slipped her pocket money into my hand and said, I believe in you. You'll be a champion someday. Looking back now, she was the first person who ever believed I could win. As we walked through the hallways, Max filled the silence with small talk and introductions. Eventually, he stopped in front of a door and pushed it open. This one's yours. Best view in the house. Quiet, too. Perfect for someone who needs to think as much as you do. The room was spacious. Everything brand new. A clear upgrade from what I had at SCG. Through the window, the skyline stretched along the river. Lights winding like a trail of stars. Thanks, Max. He clapped my shoulder. Don't mention it. Get settled in. Dinner's in half an hour. Official welcome meal. When he left, the room fell silent. I stood there for a long time, taking it all in. From the resignation notice, to the fight with Elena, to the decision to leave. It had all happened in just a few days. And yet, everything had changed. The place I thought I'd stay until retirement. I'd left it behind without hesitation. The person I thought I couldn't live without. Turns out losing her didn't break me. My heart just felt quiet. Not shattered, not burning, just still. I was nearly done unpacking when there was a soft knock at the door. I assumed it was Max, but when I opened it, a tall figure leaned against the frame. Zoe stood there in a TMW jacket, her long hair loosely tied, a familiar but more mature smile playing on her lips. Her eyes sparkled as they swept over me from head to toe. Well, well. Augustine, our great shot caller, finally decided to bless TMW with his presence. I blinked, momentarily dazed. The little girl who once trailed behind me crying when she lost a match had now become one of the league's brightest stars, a player strong, enough to carry her own team. What do you mean, bless you with my presence? I just needed a place to eat. Oh, please. She walked past me into the room, glancing around without hesitation. Someone like you, Augustine, with no place to go. Who'd believe that? We hadn't kept in close contact over the years. Life and tournaments got in the way. It wasn't until last season when she made her dazzling debut with TMW that we'd crossed paths again. A polite nod before games, an occasional holiday message, nothing more. And now, seeing her here like this stirred something bittersweet. Our coach has been waiting for you, she said lightly. So, settling in okay? Yeah, I nodded. The base is great. And the people? She asked, raising a brow. Just got here. Haven't met them yet. She nodded knowingly, choosing not to press. Walking to the window, she looked out at the city lights. Her voice softened. I've been trying to get you to come here for an entire season, she said quietly. Didn't think you actually would. Neither did I. Silence settled between us for a moment. Then she turned around, eyes serious for the first time. Augustine, welcome to TMW. Her gaze burned with conviction. We need you here. I understood the weight behind her words. TMW had been a powerhouse once, but had fallen in recent years. They needed a leader, someone who could bring order to chaos, and me, I needed a place to start over. Before I could answer, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, then silenced it. Dinner's ready, she said, smiling again. Come on, let me show you what real food tastes like. Way better than SCG's cafeteria. The dining hall buzzed with laughter. A long table was filled with players and staff, and Max waved me over enthusiastically. Zoe sat beside me, introducing each teammate, their roles, strengths, and quirks. The atmosphere was warm, easy, real. As dinner went on, they asked about my old matches, my strategies, my thought process. The conversation flowed naturally. No tension, no politics, just pure curiosity and respect. For the first time in a long while, I felt it again. Team spirit. But then, a staff member quietly approached Max and whispered something in his ear. His smile faded slightly. He looked across the table at me, uncertain. Augustine, he said slowly. The front desk says, someone's here to see you. As I followed the staff downstairs, a faint guess began to take shape in my mind, and when I reached the lobby, it was confirmed. Standing by the entrance was Elena. Her hair was loosely tied, a few strands sticking to her cheeks. The sharp, composed coach of SCG was gone. Her eyes were bloodshot, her voice trembling. Augustine! The moment she saw me, she rushed forward, reaching for my arm. Why did you leave without saying anything? SCG's waiting for you to come back. You signed with TMW. Was that your plan all along? I stepped back, my tone calm, almost detached. I left through the proper process, Elena. That's not leaving without notice. As for TMW, that was my decision after I left SCG. It has nothing to do with you. I paused, meeting her eyes. Besides, you were the one who helped submit my resignation, remember? So what's wrong now that things turned out exactly how you wanted? Like I wanted? Her voice rose, sharp enough to draw glances from nearby staff. Augustine, do you even have a heart? Did you forget the day we won the summer championship? You said we'd go to the world championship together. Did you forget who fought for you to be SCG's starter when everyone else doubted you? It was just a joke, and you actually left. Her eyes were full of tears and accusation. But to me, those memories had long turned cold. Elena, I said quietly, are you really blaming me? Was I the one who treated my resignation like a joke? Was I the one who gambled my career away with Mickey? It was you. You told me to get out. You're the one who crushed everything we had. And now you think I'm the one without a heart? Her face went pale. Her lips trembled, but no words came out. After a few seconds, her voice broke into a sob. Augustine, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have argued with you like that. Please, come back. You can have your starting spot again. We'll go back to how things were. Go back? I let out a short, bitter laugh. All right then, transfer Mickey to the second team. Elena froze. Her expression wavered, torn, conflicted, but no words left her mouth. I let out a faint, cold laugh. You can't, can you? You used to say you'd never gamble with my career, and now look at you, Elena. Do you really think we can go back to how things were? Her tears slipped down her cheeks as she reached out, trying to touch my wrist. But before she could, another voice cut sharply through the air. Funny, Zoe said coolly. You're the one who pushed him out, and now you're here crying for sympathy? What do you think this is, your backyard? You can just stroll into TMW and take what you want? I hadn't even noticed Zoe coming down the stairs. She was holding my water bottle, her eyes cold as ice as she came to stand beside me. When Augustine was fighting through pain with that injured wrist, you didn't care, she said. You were too busy making stupid bets with Mickey. And now that he's finally doing fine here, you show up to cause drama? You're not here to win him back, Elena. You're just scared. Scared that without Augustine, your precious SCG will collapse. Stay out of this, Elena snapped, her voice cracking. This is between me and Augustine. I'm TMW's captain, Zoe replied evenly, her tone sharp but steady. And I'm Augustine's teammate. She handed me the water bottle, her lips curling into a mocking smile. Unlike you, who had a world-class shot caller and still chose to protect that useless rookie Mickey. Now you want him back? Life doesn't work that way. Elena's face went pale, then flushed red with anger. Stop talking nonsense, she shouted, lunging forward with her hand out. But I caught her wrist before she could touch Zoe, gripping it just firmly enough to stop her. Elena, I said quietly, don't make a scene here. She stumbled back a step, struggling to keep her composure. But then her control snapped completely. Fine, she cried hoarsely. Then come with me. I won't make a scene if you come back. SCG needs you! Zoe frowned, already pulling out her phone. Hello, security? There's someone causing a disturbance in the lobby. Please come handle it. Elena turned to me one last time, her eyes full of desperation. Augustine, please, I'm begging you. Elena, I interrupted, my voice final and cold. I'm doing well at TMW, let's stop here. No more meetings, no more messages. I paused, meeting her gaze directly. Not just SCG, we're over. In the end, security escorted her out of the building. Her figure swayed as she left, disheveled, broken, like a stray dog that had lost its way home. Zoe tilted her head toward me, her voice light again. You okay? I shook my head slightly. I'm fine, she shrugged. Good. Come on, dinner's not even over yet. People like her aren't worth losing your appetite over. Time passed quickly. A month later, the autumn regular season began. They say enemies are bound to meet again, and that's exactly what happened. TMW's very first match was against SCG. In the hallway before the game, the two teams crossed paths. Mickey stood next to Elena, flashing me a smug grin. Elena's face was harder to read, resentment, unwillingness, and something else buried deep within. But I no longer cared enough to figure it out. "Well, if it isn't the great Augustine," Mickey sneered. "How's it feel clinging to TMW's leg?" "Comfortable." A few of his teammates joined in, snickering. "Yeah, must be nice. Pretty boy like you always lands on his feet, huh?" Before I could respond, Xiaoshu, our top laner, cut in. "Funny hearing that from you SCG clowns," he shot back. "Still remember your flash into wall feed moment against Team XY last split? Got the clip saved whenever I need a laugh." Another teammate chuckled. "Didn't SCG already lose 2 matches this season? One more and you drop into the losers bracket. Maybe worry about yourselves first. Without Augustine carrying your sorry team, you think you can still pull off a miracle comeback like last summer?" I finally spoke, my tone calm but cutting. "Let's settle it on stage. Unlike some people, who only get to play when the starter's injured." Mickey's face turned crimson. He opened his mouth but no words came out. Zoe let out a low, amused laugh beside me. Tossing her hair back, she looked over at Elena and Mickey. "Coach Elena," she said with mock politeness, "maybe keep your players in check. Trash talk only works if you've actually earned the right to use it." Her smile sharpened. "Your golden boy only got his starter spot through connections, while our team paid top dollar for a world champion shot caller. You really think that's the same league?" Elena's knuckles whitened around her tactical clipboard, her fingers trembling. Her eyes locked onto mine, searching for hesitation or regret. But there was none. I met her gaze steadily, calm and detached. There was no anger, no sorrow, just distance. The woman who once had the power to shake my entire world now felt like nothing more than a stranger. "Let's go," I said to my teammates. We turned and walked toward the stage entrance as the crowd's roar and the glare of stage lights grew louder with every step. A new chapter was beginning. This match, I wasn't just going to win. I was going to prove that leaving SCG was the best decision I'd ever made. The players took their seats, putting on their noise-canceling headsets. The deafening cheers faded until all I could hear was the steady beat of my own heart. I adjusted my gear. The cold metal beneath my fingers felt familiar, dependable. My wrist throbbed faintly beneath the kinesiology tape. Not a burden anymore, but a reminder. A push forward. Across the stage, I could feel the tense gazes from SCG's side. Resentment, unwillingness, regret. I knew exactly who it came from, but I didn't look back. The band pick phase began. Elena's strategy still mirrored traces of my old style, but her imitation was sloppy, trying to make Mickey the team's focus while completely neglecting rhythm and safety. Our coaching team had studied them well, and Zoe knew Elena's habits better than anyone. "Stick to the plan," I said into the mic, voice low and steady. "Got it," my teammates replied, their excitement barely contained. In the first game, SCG tried to invade our jungle early, but my pre-placed vision caught them instantly. Counter-gank, flank, collapse, wipeout. Mickey fell apart under pressure, his desperation to prove himself turning into his biggest weakness. My calls were crisp and precise. The gold lead snowballed fast. By the 20-minute mark, SCG's entire formation broke apart. Their nexus exploded soon after. The crowd erupted. The cameras cut to SCG's booth. Mickey pale as a ghost. Elena clutching her clipboard, brows drawn tight. The second game was no different. They tried to stall for late game, but we controlled the map flawlessly, cutting off every resource. I led like a blade. Zoe followed like a shadow, her assassin striking perfectly through every opening. Their collapse came at Baron. They panicked. Their coordination failed. I saw the moment and called the engage. Clean 0 for 5.2.0. By now, the arena was a sea of TMW cheers. SCG sat in silence, Elena shouting commands, but her players' eyes were already empty. The third game? There was nothing left. SCG was broken, mentally and tactically. We crushed them in 15 minutes, 10,000 gold ahead. With Baron buff in hand, we stormed their base and ended it in one final push. A clean sweep. Total domination. When the enemy nexus exploded, my teammates tore off their headsets, cheering and high-fiving. I leaned back in my chair, breathing out slowly. My wrist ached faintly, but all I felt was calm. We rose for the handshake. Mickey kept his eyes down, his fingers cold when they brushed mine. When Elena's turn came, her lips parted as if to say something, but she didn't. She just gave a quick, trembling shake before pulling back. I didn't stop. I walked to the center of the stage, stepping into the lights and the roar that now belonged to TMW. At that moment, I knew I had finally left behind everything that was SCG and Elena. From then on, TMW rose like wildfire, tearing through the playoffs until we reached the finals as the top seed. The championship match was against another powerhouse, but our form was unstoppable. Another flawless 3.0 golden confetti rained down, glittering like firelight as I lifted the trophy high. It felt heavy, real, something entirely new. Meanwhile, SCG crumbled. Without their core shot caller, they barely scraped through a few rounds before getting eliminated. Rumor had it Elena was dismissed after harsh questioning, and Mickey was torn apart by public criticism. But none of that mattered anymore. I looked up at the falling gold streamers, the deafening chants of TMW echoing through the arena. A new era, our era, had just begun.